Hey guys, Miss Eisminger here, 8.1. We're going to be solving equations today, and I'm pretty excited because this is our first lesson dealing with some algebra, which I absolutely love. So if we look at this scenario, it says that we are talking about a bagel maker, and it says a shaky egg bagel baker just wants to keep things equal. What should he charge for one bagel to match his crosstown rival? And if you look at this, it says write an equation and solve it. So the crosstown rival is charging $7.80 for a dozen bagels. A dozen means 12 bagels. So if we put 12 and we put it next to a variable b, that means multiplication. So 12 times b equals 780. And now we're going to solve that. So this is multiply. What's the opposite of multiply? We're going to divide. I talked about this yesterday. When we divide, we now use a line to divide. That's how we show it. And these cross each other out because multiplying by 12 and then dividing by 12 is the inverse. So those cross each other out. We divide by 12, and if you punch in 780 and you divide it by 12, you're going to get our answer here of 65 cents a bagel. So our bagel shop needs to charge 65 cents a bagel. In this lesson is a key concept, and it talks to you about the addition property of equality and the subtraction property of equality. You need to understand that one of the most important things in Algebra 1 is what you do to one side, you must do to the other. And we need to work on showing our work and getting it written down that way because that is very important when you hit 8th grade math. You have to be able to write your work like I'm going to be doing in this topic. So those are your key concepts. Let's head into our example. Hey guys, for this part, we are going to be using an equation tool, and you can see that we have x plus 3 equals 11. So what we need to do is we need to get x by itself. So if I take away these 3 from one side, again, I need to do the same thing from this side, and you can see that now, since I did the same thing to both sides, I have x equals 8. So in the original equation, our answer is x equals 8. For your equation, we have b minus 2 equals negative 10. So I hit my pen here. B minus 2 equals negative 10. So we need to get b by itself right here. This guy's got to be by himself. And we need to make this become a 0. We've talked a lot about this. This is a negative 2. So to make negative 2 become a 0, we would add 2 to both sides. And we have b equals, now some of us still struggle with our negatives. So negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8. Now I encourage you to come back into the original question and see if it makes sense. If b is negative 8, plug in negative 8 right here. Negative 8, take away 2 more, is negative 10. So you solved the equation. All right, the next part of this lesson is key concepts. And just like before, the most important thing is what you do to one side, you do to the other. This is the division property of equality and the multiplication of equality. And all that says is if you multiply one side of the equation by something, you have to multiply the other side by that. And division, if you divide by something on one side, you have to divide by that on the other side. Let's head to part 2. All right, now we're going to be solving equations with multiplication and division. So we have d over negative 5 equals 7.2. So this is division. This is how 7th and 8th graders write division. So we're going to multiply by negative 5. I use a dot now because if I use this guy, he looks like an X. So we don't really use that multiplication symbol much. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So my work cancels out. I've got d by itself. So now 7.2 times 2.5 will be the answer to this. So clear this out. 7.2 times 5 negative is negative 36 is D. D equals negative 36. Now, my problem has one more, so I'm going to erase this all. Okay, and my next equation I'm supposed to solve is, oh, this one's not too bad at all. Negative 2p equals 1. Negative 2p equals 1. So now I need to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and I get negative a half. And it doesn't matter that that negative sign's down there by the 2, because it doesn't matter if your negative's up top by the 1 or if it's out front of your fraction bar or down by the 2. P equals negative 1/2. Head to your got it and see what we're doing. All right, for this equation, it's again a division equation, so obviously we're going to be multiplying to solve because we do the opposite. So m over 0.5 equals 11. So we need to multiply by 0.5 on both sides, multiply by 0.5. It's supposed to be a point, not a negative sign. So 11 times 0.5, let's see here, 11 times 0.5, well, that's a half of 11, right? Because 0.5 is a half, so we should know this without even using a calculator. M is 5.5. All right, guys, that was the lesson. It was kind of short and sweet. I want you to get in and do your 10 problems for 8.1 using a showing work page. I am probably going to be taking points off that showing work page because the most important thing is that we're able to show our work correctly and try and make your work look like my work. And you can always go back to the video and look at my work if you're struggling with that part of it. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Good luck. Start your homework.